Yo, I just took some brand new cuts of some fire genetics. I'm talking absolute fire. Wait, it looks like everything's died off in this humidity dome, man. Nothing's made, everything's died and rotten off, bro. Oh, man. Well, that's disappointing.
Stupid. Bruh.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another... What's good, y'all? You guys know we playing out here, guys. Let's move this to the side because we got some proper cuts out here. You guys know we know how to take our cuttings properly. We don't play. We get roots out here, baby. We do it the right way. So smash that like, guys, because today's episode we're going to show you guys a few things at the cloning station, but we're also going to show you guys how you guys can reuse your medium, because I got to pop some of these in some new homes, but I ran out of medium. So in today's episode we're going to show you guys how to reuse your medium with some of the iCan organics, and also some pro tips so you guys get some nice roots in your cuttings like these. So without further ado, guys, let's get rid of this. This is trash, and let's go.
Warning, this video is for scientific and educational documentary purposes only. We do not sell anything.
A few moments later.
What's up, guys? So it's about time for me to step out of the closet. You know, it's time to come out of the closet. No, I'm just playing. We actually out here where we have the clone station set up, guys. We don't need a whole lot. We literally got it set up right opposite a little wardrobe. So we ain't need a whole lot when it comes to the cloning station, guys. And what I want to show you guys is that the cloning station is working so dang good. Honestly, guys, it's been in here for about a couple of weeks now. But the plants have gone past the clone station. They're fully on into veg under this little setup. Now, this setup is the Mars Hydro line. It's a really nice little setup, all-in-one setup. It's got the adjustable lights on there, so the lights can actually go up and go down. It's also got a little timer on there, so you can change the time from 4 hours to 16 hours to 12 hours, 8 hours. You can really change the time around. Also, you can change the spectrum. You can change the spectrum and the brightness. So right now we got it on veg. We can also change that spectrum to flower. So you guys can see the spectrum actually changes based on the button that we press. So this is veg, this is flower. This is veg, this is flower. So it actually works really, really nice. Now, what I like about this setup, other than it being an all-in-one setup, is that it just works so freaking good. Now, some of you guys may know that I've actually made one of these nice little setups myself, and I'll show you guys exactly how to do it. And I actually got it right down here. Alright, y'all, so here we got the DIY cloning system, which I made myself. This is a bubble cloner out of some really simple materials. 2 plastic containers, that's all it really is. I even got some clone collars that I made myself. These are kneeling pads. You can also make them out of pool noodles, but it is basically a clone collar. This is the legit clone collar, which you can get online. It's the same concept, pretty much the exact same thing, and it works like a charm. Now, all you need is a couple containers with a lid. I blacked out the bottom so that light doesn't hit the water. Water plus light equal algae, and you don't want that. We got a couple air stones in there, and we got a little aquarium pup. This is a really simple setup, guys. It absolutely works. If you guys want to see how I set this up, check it out. We got a whole video breaking this down, and it explains everything. But it's the same concept as what we got over here, guys. So we got this one set up and everything's looking really nice. But what we're going to do today is show you guys just how crazy things are looking, because as you guys can see, it's working real good, guys. Roots so white, it looks like spaghetti. Anyone wants to bring some pasta sauce over here? We can share some of these spaghettis.
Stupid.
Alright, guys. But what we're going to do today, guys, is literally go through some of these, show you guys exactly what we got going on over here. Because we got quite a few little ladies in here. Like I said, they've gone straight past the seedling stage, the clone stage, and gone straight on into veg. Check these out, guys. They're literally vegging in here. And look at this one. This one actually looks really crazy. I don't know if the camera's actually picking this up, but we got crazy pistols booming off this girl, even though she's in veg and just sitting down in the clone chamber. It's actually pretty wild. Now, tons of people do different things when it comes to cloning. For me, I like this little all-in-one setup, but like I said, you can make your own system, or you can use a regular humidity dome. I've had a lot of success with the humidity dome over the years. The only thing with the humidity dome is that you got to keep the moisture pretty high, so that's why you got the dome over top, but you also got to mist pretty frequently. They got different sizes of humidity domes, guys. Obviously, for cloning, the taller ones work better. If you're just popping seeds or seedlings, these little ones work pretty okay. Now, I've tried all different types of cloning. I've used these little rapid rooter cubes. I've used some of the skinnier ones. I've done hydroponic cloning. I've done bubble cloning. So I've really tried all different types of propagation, guys. And the bubble cloners, the hydroponic cloners, I found that these really work great. And as you guys can see, the results speak for themselves. Look at these crazy roots. That's absolutely insane. Roots so white you could eat them. But that is actually what you want when you get in roots, man. You want to make sure that your plants get out of the clone stage and they get into the veg stage as seamless as possible. And these girls right here are already in veg. So what we're going to do is transplant these girls into some soil, get them into a nice new home, into a solo cup, maybe into 1 gallon. We'll figure it out. Right now I'm running a little low on medium, so what we're going to do is show you guys a little hack. If you guys are running low on medium and just harvested some plants, maybe you guys can do this as well. We're going to get these out and show you guys exactly which one of these we're going to keep and why we might discard the rest. So let's go. Alright y'all, now before we actually get into that transplant, let me give you guys a little breakdown of how we actually got these pearly white roots, because these roots are out of this world, and what I want to do is give you guys a step-by-step breakdown of exactly what I did. So first off guys, I take my unrooted cutting. It's got no roots on it. You just took the cut straight off your plant. I dip it directly into this Clonex. This is some rooting gel. That is it right there in this container, just so that you don't cross-contaminate. I always put the Clonex in a separate container. Aside from that, we fill this up with some water. It's got to be pH water. Usually you want your pH to be between 5.5 and 6.5. That's the best range of pH for this to actually work. Now you also want to use some of this Clonex. It's not an absolute mandatory thing, but I've just found that the clone solution works really good for me. All this really is a really light clone or seedling nutrient, and it really helps your plants to thrive. So I found this really useful. Now there's also Clonex spray. I've used that as well, but I've also had good results without it, just using this and the Clonex rooting gel. So these two things work really great. Even if you're using a bubble cloner system like the one that I made myself, this is exactly what I use to start things off. Now like I said, you also want to pH your water. You want to pH up or pH down depending on what the case is, but you want to make sure it's between 5.5 and 6.5. Don't snooze on that guys. If it's outside of that range, these plants will not uptake that nutrient. Now when I first started using hydroponic cloners and I made it myself, I literally copped 2 of the containers and I used one as a dome. The one at the bottom I blacked it out with black tape because you don't want those roots to get any light hitting the water. That causes algae growth, pretty much like what you guys may be able to see all the way down at the bottom right there. But after using the hydroponic cloners for a while, I literally stopped using this dome over top. So this, I just got rid of it because I did find that the dome was causing too much moisture to build up and was actually causing some of my cuttings to rot. Now a big question that we get guys, do these cuttings need to be actually in the water, touching the water, or is it okay if it's out of the water? Now for me, I found that it's always better if they actually are in the water. So I try to make sure that they're literally sitting in the water, they're dipped all the way inside. Like this one you guys may be able to see is not actually rooted. It was sitting in the water just a little bit above it I think, and maybe that's why it hasn't rooted. But I found that sometimes if they're not actually sitting in the water, you come back, it's completely dried off. So all the ones that are actually sitting in the water look happy, healthy, green, and you may find one all the way down inside that looks dried up just like this because it was actually just out of the water. So for me, I try to make sure that the base of the cutting is actually sitting in the water. So that's just a pro tip for all you guys out there. Let me know what you guys do. Do you dip it in the water or do you have it just out of the water? Now finally guys, one of the important things when it comes to using these hydroponic cloners is making sure that the water doesn't run out. I literally forgot about this for a while because it was running so good. It was running fine. I was like, there's no need for me to pop in there. I'm gonna just leave it and let it root. But then when I did pop in there, I was like, oh shoot, the water actually reached down below the minimum level. So I had to pop in and make sure that the water was not getting too low because that could cause your motor to run out. Because that can cause your motor to burn out if you got a pump or something like that. But it could also cause the water level to drop so low that your cuttings actually are out of the water and they just shrivel up and die off. So you don't want to lose all the cuttings. Make sure that your water is topped up, and that's a pro tip for all you guys if you guys are stoners like me. But guys, the roots literally speak for themselves. It's absolutely crazy roots. So what we're going to do is head on over to the veg station and get these transplanted, get them ready to go into some soil. And I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do because like I said, we literally don't have any medium to actually pop these into. We're running so dry guys, so we got to figure something out. So let's go do that. Alright y'all, so here we are, and what we're going to do is sort of look through and try to figure out which one of these cuttings makes sense to keep and which ones we're going to probably just get rid of. And that's why it's always a good idea guys to take extra cuttings because sometimes you may not keep all of them and some of them may not root. Now it looks like a lot of these cuttings have actually rooted, but what I found is that some of them just look a lot better than others. So right here up in the front we got London pound cakes, and a lot of these London pound cakes have rooted. All 3 of them actually have rooted, but what I've noticed is that 2 of them just look way more healthier than the third one. Now taking these roots out simply because of how crazy the root system have gotten, it may be a little bit of a task. I'm feeling them pulling all the other plants' roots because they're all connected down below, but we're getting them out, and that's what's really important. Now what I wanted to show you guys is that this one right here, even though it's rooted, it just doesn't look as healthy as this one. So I don't know if you guys can actually see. Don't worry about some of these fading leaves and stuff like that. We'll just get rid of those. The main thing is actually the size of the cutting itself. So what I'm looking at is that these two cuts are a lot bigger. They're a lot taller. Whereas this one is just a lot smaller. And if you guys look up really close, it sort of looks like it just hasn't really spaced out as much and as nicely as these ones have. You guys can see a little bit of nodal spacing. This looks like an actual really nice plant, whereas this one looks like it may just turn into a little bit of a runt. So what we're going to do is probably just get rid of this one and keep these two. So these are the two London pound cakes that we will be keeping. And those are little stuff that I look for when I'm actually taking cuttings and when I'm trying to determine which cuttings I'm actually going to keep. So these two right here look really healthy, really nice root zone, and these are definite winners. And this one that looks a little not too good, we're probably just going to get rid of that one. Now going ahead and looking at some of the jealousies that we got, we can already see that a lot of them have rooted. Two of them have rooted really nicely. This one is rooted really nicely, and also this one is rooted really nicely. You guys can see beautiful, nice white roots, but whereas this one in the middle hasn't rooted at all. So this one we're obviously going to get rid of, and that's why you guys take extra cuttings. Now, if you guys can see right here, it literally looks like the base of this cutting is actually started to rot, and that is something that happens. Sometimes you got sometimes there are casualties, and that's why you always take extras. So these two jealousy cuttings look really good. Like I said, don't worry about these little yellowing or browning leaves down at the bottom. That's just a natural part of this process, and you can just pluck those off, and you guys will have some really happy, healthy cuttings. Here we go. Now guys, these roots are so healthy, they're literally popping up through other holes. Let's see if we can figure out where these roots are coming from. So right here we got two of the Josh the OG cross with the Platinum. These are both in-house genetics crosses. So let's get these out and see how these are looking. Okay, we figured out where the roots are coming from. It's coming from this Josh the OG. Now both of these are also really nice. Again, these little yellowing leaves, these will die off. You can literally just pluck those off. But what matters is the root zone down below and those nice little leaves up top. So some more Josh the OGs, we'll keep these for sure. Now let's check out some of these gazerpos. Here we got the three gazerpos. Now this gazerpo is really small. It has started to root, but the roots don't look as substantial as some of the other ones we've been showing you guys so far, and overall it just does look like a little bit of a smaller cut. Now that's probably just because this cut itself was a small cutting, but all that said, we'll probably just stick around with the two slightly larger ones. Now even these two larger ones, you guys may be able to see it really looks like it's got a little bit of monster cropping going on in here, but also you guys can see it's got some really tight nodal spacing and stuff. Now all in all, the gazerpos, I'm not 100% sure if I'm keeping them around, but I did take clones anyway. So these are the gazerpos. They're pretty nice, pretty okay. We'll figure out which one of these we want to keep. We may not keep any of them, but this one looks like it's got the nicest spacing, so we may hold on to this and trash the other two. Now next up guys, we got the Pussy Gushers, and this was a full-on monster crop guys. Full-on monster crop clone. This plant was in flower. It's got some browning leaves around the sides, but don't worry about those like I was telling you guys. But this is a full-on monster crop, and what we're going to do is try to get this to re-veg fully, but it's not got a crazy amount of roots on there. It's literally look like all the roots are literally conjoining out of one part of the cut, which is pretty crazy. So what we may do is actually pop that back in, leave it for a little longer, and see how crazy this can get. If it gets really crazy and really cool, we'll give you guys an update. If not, we'll just move on. Now let's get these transplanted into some soil and let's go.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright y'all, so here we are with all of our cuts. Everything's looking good. We got all our solo cups ready, we got them labeled up, and we're literally ready to get them all set up in the solo cups in their new homes. But we got a little bit of a problem right here, and that is our medium container is empty. Even our backup medium container, that looks like it's running pretty low. We may be able to get away with some of it, but we really need a little bit more. So what we're going to do today guys is show you all how we can reuse a medium from our previous harvest, sort of like what we got with this Paloma that we cut down a couple weeks back, and show you guys how you can reuse that and avoid any issues, but reuse it and re-amend it for something like your clones, your vegging plants, or even your flowering plants. Alright y'all, now it's been a couple weeks since we harvested these plants. When it comes to reusing soil from old mediums, it's always a good idea to let it dry out a bit. If you don't have time to let it dry out, okay, but if you do have time to let it dry out, it really does help help with a lot of things. Now first off, what it helps with is some of those pest issues. Like fungus gnats, they love to lay eggs in the top layer of that medium. Right up here where it gets really moist, they love to lay eggs in that. So my first step for reusing my medium, typically I would scrape out that top layer of medium, just because you never know what could be in there. They can have eggs, they can have fungus gnat larvae, you never know. So we're going to scrape that out into a completely separate container, and then we're probably just going to toss that out, get rid of it. Anything that's at that top layer, I usually like to get rid of it. My mind just tells me get rid of it, Matt, because it's probably going to have fungus gnat eggs in there or something like that. So just scrape the top out, and once that's done, you're ready to go on to step 2. Now once you've scraped out that top layer of medium, guys, you should be able to see exactly where you cut your plant down. Sometimes you may be able to hold that and just lift it straight on up out of there, but sometimes that little piece of stalk can be really slimy and skinny, no diddy. But typically I just grab the whole thing out and pull it out of there. You may notice some roots down at the bottom, you may notice some roots at the side, but it's all good. Just set it aside and we'll get to that in a bit. So we're going to do that with the second one. Just pull that out just like that and get it on in. Now that shows a sign of some healthy root zone, guys. When the whole medium comes out like that, it really shows that your medium is nice, moist, and healthy.
A few inches later.
Okay guys, so we went ahead and tossed out that medium that may have had any fungus gnat larvae or anything like that in there. We got rid of that. We got a clean, clear container. Now that's definitely what you want to use, because a clean, clear container can help you guys do this so much easier. Now usually I'll just go in and I'll try to break off some of the heavy roots. So some of the heavy roots you guys can see at the bottom, I just try to get rid of some of that heavy root mass. It's really easy to get rid of the root mass, and I just pull it out with my fingers. Now those roots will break down over time, but it's just preference, so I prefer to get rid of some of those. Now what I also like to do is just go in with my hand and just sort of break it up a little bit. Just break up the root ball, and any of the loose dirt that falls out, that's literally what we're going to be working with. Anything that's really clumped together, the huge root mass in the middle, we're not going to be working with that. We're just going to get rid of that. So we're just going to shake it out a little bit, and that's why the drier it is, guys, the better it is. When it's really moist, like this one that I got in my hand right now is really moist, you may be able to see some of the moisture lines on this as well. But one thing that I do notice is that when it's moist, it's a little bit harder to really get it to clump out, shake out, and you get some of the loose medium. When it's really moist, you don't get as much of the medium shaking out and falling off, so you really got to go in there and sort of break it up with your hand. Now some of you no-till guys out there may be like, yo, this is absolutely crazy, he's destroying the microbial life and the environment and all that, but it's not no-till. I'm not doing no-till, I'm just doing a little organic system, and we're going to re-amend in a bit, and I'll show you guys exactly how we do that. Now moving on to the second one, guys, this one is a lot drier, so you guys can see it's actually breaking apart and coming off a lot easier in my hand than the first one was. So like I said, guys, the drier it is, the better it is. And a lot of times, if it's really dry, you can literally just pass your hand around it and it'll just break off perfectly. Now the cool thing is, guys, that I'm able to actually see the 1 gallon that I transplanted up from, and then we can see it transplant straight into the 5 gallon. You can pretty much see the pots that I've started with and where I've uppotted. That's pretty cool. Now if you guys got any tools, like any little forks or anything like that, that also comes in handy just to scrape off any of the root mass that may be on there. And it also helps just to pull off any of the loose dirt that may be in that medium. So what I'm going to do next, guys, is sort of run through and really just run my fingers through and try to pull out any of those massive pieces of root mass. If any of those root pieces are in there, I'm going to just pull those out. But for the most part, we may have gotten a lot of them out already. And if there's anything that you missed, don't worry about it, because a lot of the times it'll just break down in your medium anyway. Over time, a lot of these little pieces of root will break down and become available to the plant as a form of nutrients. Alright y'all, so we got our medium literally all ready to go. We've also got the little root masses out and ready to throw those away, because we don't want to do anything with these. I know some people make teas with the root balls and all that, but me, I just get rid of the root balls, but I do reuse my medium from time to time. Now what we're going to do is re-amend these, and we're going to use some of the iCan organics to re-amend it. We'll use a little bit of the plant success formula, the veg and the flower, and we may use a little bit of the seedling formula. We're going to figure out exactly how we do it, but we're going to re-amend all these and make sure they get ready to pop these into these little solar cups so that these little babies can all be put into their new homes. Alright, Alright y'all, so having given it some thought, what we're going to do is re-amend it. We're going to use some of the iCan Veg Pack as well as just a little bit of the iCan Plant Success Formula. These two things will give a great foundation and a great basis for these little clones to really boom into the veg stage and give them everything they need so that they don't run into any deficiencies or any issues like that. Now re-amending your medium, guys, is really easy. The great thing about the iCan Veg Pack or the iCan Organics is that you can use it as a top dress or you can mix it directly into your medium like we're doing right now when you're transplanting. Whether you're doing from solo cup or into 1 gallons or you're going into flour, it really doesn't matter because it can work both ways. Perfect. What I like to do is use 1 tablespoon per gallon of medium, so we're literally just going to mix it all up in there, guys. And because we're doing such a large amount, typically what I'll do is go in and I'll just sprinkle a little bit around on there, just a generous amount, and I'm going to sprinkle it all in there and mix it all in. So this is the iCan Veg Pack. Now we're also going to go in with just a little bit of the iCan Plant Success Formula, and what this does is maximize your nutrient uptake. So no matter what type of nutrients or fertilizer you're running, this will actually maximize the plant's uptake and make sure it gets the maximum out of your nutrient regimen. So we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of this on in there again, just a generous amount because we're going to be mixing this all the way in. And last but not least, guys, after this, we're also going to add a little bit of mycorrhizae. Now the Plant Success Formula and the Veg Pack already come with a beneficial bacteria boost, but it could never hurt just to add a little bit extra mycorrhizae in there. I got it in my paprika container, so we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of extra mycorrhizae on there. And in so doing, we got a really nice little base, as in terms of a little base medium for our plants to really thrive. We ain't got to do a whole lot, guys, and that's why I say the iCan Organics, they are outstanding organics, they're easy organics, and if you guys love organic systems as much as I do, this is one of the best ways to get the best out of your plants. It really is that simple and it really is that amazing.
Let me sip on my tropical juice and let me smoke this tropical weed. I got the medicine flavors, don't think that this shit comes cheap. So bitch, don't moan when I charge 15 for a D. Just a little nigga in his zone, grind hard, can't stay on these streets. Mish mash and I'm doing it all, dip splash and I'm getting in peak. I'm in the field all day, no time for these stupid neeks. Come, bitch, come my way, just watch how veteran speaks. Tooled up on the left.
Now real quick, guys, obviously when it comes to re-amending, you reuse soil. The best thing to do is always to get a soil test, a soil analysis. You know exactly what's in your soil, what's in your medium. But for now, we ain't got a lot of time to actually do that. We're going to be running out this weekend and we really need to get these transplanted. So what we're doing is sort of eyeballing it based on the previous run, and that's why we went for something really simple like the iCan Veg Pack and the Plant Success Formula. But you can also use something like the iCan All-Purpose Blend, and this will give you guys a really great base, a foundation for anything. Whether you're in veg, flour, no matter what type of transplant you want to do, this got you covered. So all that said, the next stage is pretty easy. What we're going to do is literally get our solo cups ready just to pop our seedlings in there, and that should be it.
Come on, my nigga, we on go, my nigga, for all of my doors in the pen. You said you was gang, but you never hang, and I guess it was a myth. The picture I paint is never gonna change, RPG, we gonna win. Spending this cash, we'll run to the back, we can do this shit all again. Come on, my nigga, we on go, my nigga, for all of my doors in the pen. You said you was gang, but you never hang, and I guess it was a myth. The picture I paint is never gonna change, RPG, we gonna win. Spending this cash, we'll run to the back, we can do this shit all again. They all in the front, they show me love, them bitches, they bought their friends. Got racks in my pants and 10 in my hands, look how long I wait for this. I'm Mary Jeans with Dolce Gabbana, Fendi T, I might throw on the Prada. Since they fly and I do what I wanna, who the Prince of Flatbush? I'm the king of my hood, now let's see how that look. DC to New York, just know we all good. But nigga, don't forget who was down for you. Most these bitches was clowning you. Switch on me, I never lied to you. Now you pull up, I got rounds for you, yeah.
Right, y'all, so we got our cuttings all transplanted in their new homes. We did the double solo cup method, and that's the method that I always use whenever I take cuttings, even with my seedlings, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. And for the solo cup, it's literally just taking 2 solo cups, popping a hole at the bottom of the first one, so that way you can do a little bit of butt chugging, no diddy of course, but that means basically that you water in the bottom cup. The bottom cup acts as a reservoir, and the hole in the cup allows the water to be taken up. Think of like a paper towel or tissue paper or something like that. When it absorbs water, it moves all the way through. You ever set your toilet paper roll down next to your sink, and when you do that, you notice like, oh my gosh, it's soap! Bruh. My mic just fell off. I guess it doesn't like me talking about toilet paper. But that's pretty much the same idea, guys. The water literally absorbs and transfers its way from the bottom up to the top, just like that. Alright, y'all, now what we're going to do is show you guys exactly how we do the butt chugging. We got our water, we literally just pour a little bit of it into this. I try not to do too much, so I usually don't go above like the first ring or maybe the halfway through the second ring. And then, as you guys can see, we got the water, we got the hole, we just pop it in and let it sit in there. And what that'll do is it'll slowly go down and when so doing, the water will be absorbed into the rest of the medium. So what we're going to do is literally just go through with all the rest of the plants and do just that.
I need my checkman and he always go remind. I had to bust out some rocks for the one time. Think I'm flexing, I only do sometimes. I need to be gas on my wrist like it's lunchtime. I had to bust out some racks. Show me they fake so I can't get attached. I'm a Carolina boy, now we up on the map. But it's Hershey a fan, I won't get on my lap. No, I'm the kid, it's just hop on the spot.
So for me, I do the double solo cup method, and it's a foolproof way for you guys to avoid overwatering your seedlings and killing these little vulnerable plants, especially when they're so young and they can't take a lot of water. That really helps you guys dial in how much water it needs, and also avoid any issues with fungus gnats, especially when the top of the layer of the medium may be a little bit moist. That helps to avoid them. So bunch chugging watering for the bottom really helps. But guys, we got through so many things today, a lot of pro tips in this video, especially when it comes to propagating, taking cuttings, taking clones, reusing your medium. But drop in the comments down below and let me know what you guys do. When it comes to taking cuttings, propagating your plants, do you guys use the bubble cloner, the hydroponic cloner, or do you guys use the old school humidity dome? Heck, I had success always, so there's no right or wrong way to do it. But when it comes to actually reusing your medium, do you guys reuse your medium at all, or do you guys just throw it out after the end of every harvest? I mean, to me, it seems like that's a little bit of a waste. So where I can, I reuse my medium, but if I got like an infestation or some really serious problems with my runs, I'm not gonna reuse that medium. If everything was okay, then yeah, we can reuse it, re-amend it, we're gonna run with it. But guys, drop it in the comments, let me know what you guys do. And wait, if you guys want to find out more about growing that fire, then definitely check out any episode on screen right now. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, fam.